On September 12th, the European Central Bank cut interest rates once again, bringing the deposit rate from negative 40 basis points to negative 50 basis points, in the hopes that this would stimulate more economic growth. The problem with this idea, however, is that there's no evidence to date that negative deposit rates are improving Eurozone growth, and in fact, quite a lot of evidence to suggest that maybe they're holding growth back. For starters, the negative 40 basis points deposit rate was essentially a €7.5 billion per year tax on the European banking system. Now that that's gone from negative 40 to negative 50 basis points, that adds roughly €2 billion per year to this tax, bringing it somewhere between 9 and 10 billion euros per year. Not exactly what you want to do when you're trying to stimulate more economic growth. But there's more evidence that this is not working. For example, the clearest piece of evidence that negative deposit rates were working and stimulating inflation and stimulating growth and lending would be a sharp weakening of the currency. One of the first things we heard after the European Central Bank cut the deposit rate to negative 50 basis points on Thursday, September 12th, was a howl of protest from the White House, which said that the Federal Reserve should be doing the same thing. However, it's very important to point out that the European currency actually has not weakened for the most part in the face of negative deposit rates. When the European Central Bank first created them, moving the rate from 0 to negative 10 basis points in 2014 and then from negative 10 to negative 20 basis points, the euro did in fact weaken. However, every subsequent cut in the deposit rate to negative 30, negative 40, and now negative 50 basis points has tend to translate into an even stronger trade-weighted euro. A stronger trade-weighted euro does not generate inflation or economic growth. It does the opposite. It tends to create less inflation and less economic growth. And there's also evidence outside of the euro area that this is the case as well. For example, in early 2016, Japan inaugurated a negative deposit rate as well. What happened? The yen, which had been weakening for months going into that period, suddenly began to strengthen. And it's really never looked back, becoming a stronger currency in the past 3.5 years with negative deposit rates. This suggests that the ECB, however well-intentioned, may be angling towards a policy that is unhelpful towards allowing Europe to have stronger growth and a rate of inflation closer to its 2% target, a target it hasn't achieved in over a decade. I'm Eric Norland, Senior Economist with the CME Group in London.